Can I get a mail from anybody in this place? Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Calling All Beings. I'm DJ. I've missed you over the past 2 weeks. And this right here is my illustrious co-host, the rising star in Massachusetts. Can I get an amen for
Boston Bia?
Hey, man. Welcome back, Boston.
How are you?
All right, Bia. I'm doing
You're on
good.
the mend?
I'm slowly recovering. I put on a new shirt for you guys tonight. We're going Rhodesian Tiger Stripe. There we go.
Oh,
wow. Yeah. And we got lots of people to say hi to before we get into the business. So let's get with it. First up in the joint was the original gangster of Calling All Beings mods, none other than the Jewel of Indiana. Oh, you know what? Before we say hi to everybody, okay. So when you are dealing with an attorney who practices DUI law, one of the things that can occur is that they get called into action. And it turns out that Larry has a client in Kentucky that he was called to a detention facility to go and see, to probably begin working on that person's case, be they male or female, I don't know. And so with that, I found out about 2.5 hours ago that we were not going to have Larry tonight. The good news is we will rebook Larry. He's a gentleman. This guy, as a creator, has 500,000 subscribers. 500,000. So the fact that he would even come on with us is really big. 500,000. I don't even know if Melanie Little has that many. I really don't. So,
no, 100.
Yeah, and she's an extremely successful creator. But the good news is that Lawferio, Nan Gallagher, will be joining us. So we will get to speak with Nan tonight. So before we do that, Bia's going to address some of you in the chat.
Hi, Lulu Bell. How are you?
And it's so good to have you, Lulu Bell, one of our members. This right here is, by the way, I really missed you guys. I missed you guys a lot. 2 weeks without getting to come on and talk to you. And this is a way that I express myself and have been doing so for many years, as Bia was detailing for some people. So I really missed you. And this is JD Buddha. Greetings. Let's see. Who is this? Oh, it's Boston Bia. None other than, and you at some point you will be able to order your Boston Bia hats and t-shirts. Come on, please. Can I promo that stuff? We are okay. Bia has convinced me to get Calling All Beings hats and t-shirts, so I will contact Nathan after the show and discuss with him. I know he wanted to use Shopify, and we'll coordinate with Bia, and she's already gone down this road and figure out to get the cab logo and Calling All Beings TCU logo. I'll show you what that's going to be, and we'll do the damn thing. Let me see. So let me go ahead, Bia, go ahead and greet people. This is Sassy Vice 420. Hello, fellow human. And I'm going to grab something and try to get it up here so that we can see it. TCU. Okay, here it is. No, not that one. Cab. Okay. Go ahead, Bia, if you can.
Oh, sorry. I said I see some people from the standout today.
Jackson's
hi. Arms, Lizzie, Dizzy, Let's get busy.
In the hizzy, like Thin Lizzy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yes, we had a standout today in Drake-It. Drake-It's like 45 minutes north of Boston. It's a really nice town, and it's in Middlesex County. It's not in Norfolk County. It's Middlesex North, and we there was about 8 of us out there from 12 to 2. So we had a nice standout. And we took pictures, and they were all over social media. But yeah,
So what do you guys think about this logo for a t-shirt?
that looks cool.
You guys want that? Okay. So if you want that one, or it could be the UFO logo, maybe we'll do 2 different ones that we'll offer up. Plus, we're gonna get some stickers so that Bea can hand these out when she's at standouts. So yeah. Let me see. Have I missed anybody? Dragonfly.
No, but
Yes.
Sharon McCarthy has a question for Nan. So if you can star that, please.
Yes. Let me get that. I'll get this off screen.
Got it.
I'm looking now. Hi, Noodles Mama. There you go. I'm glad somebody can embrace their carbs. Hi, Danny. Welcome back. Okay, where is this now?
It was towards the end.
Thanks,
Hi,
Frank.
Cheech.
And look who's here, Debbie Blair. Hello, Debbie. Cheech is here. Hi, Cheech. How are you, ma'am? I know you also attend the other dive bar pizza that
North Shore Natural.
North Shore. North Shore. And there is JD and B. Hi, Lisa. Larry is here. Did I miss Larry?
Did you?
Yeah.
My handsome Dennis Sweeney's here.
Oh, hi, Dennis. The legend is in the building. Thank you for being here, Mr. Sweeney. And yeah, you have to show me where that comment. Oh, look who's here. Jen, the petty paralegal. What is up, home girl? I miss you. But yeah, I know who doesn't love Nan, right?
It was at 7:06. It says Sharon McCarthy has 2 question marks to begin.
Sharon McCarthy. We're going to get it in there, Sharon. Don't you worry. The legend is in here. Hold up.
Oh, hi, Terry.
Yeah, when Terry's here, man, you know what we got to do. The legend is going to get there every damn time. Terry Robbins is in the joint. All right, let's see. There we go. All right, so we're going to ask Nan. We've got you stad, so we can get you in there. And Nona Robin is in. Nona is like, I think that's grandma in Italian, right? Nona, I think, is grandma.
Nona, yeah.
Yeah, in Italian. So, hey, how you doing? Paisan. Teresa's here. Hey, Teresa. You from Real Housewives of New Jersey? All right. All right.
Look at Sherry D coming in with the gifted memberships.
Sherry Dizzle. Sherry Dizzle in the hizzle. Thank you so much, Sherry. Domo, arigato, namaste, and all those kinds of things. Muchas gracias. Yeah, that's right. This girl born in Cuba right here. All right, so we're going to get to a couple things before we get Nan in here that we want to talk about. Thank you, Sherry Dizzle, for being so kind, as you always are. Let me see. Okay. All right, so this is what we want to get into. So we want to talk real quickly about, and one topic is going to flow into the other, and one of them is about a video that Abby did, a Video Jesus, and Boozy Beauty was involved in, and there was another woman, I believe her name was Amanda. I'm not going to say her last name in case it's her real name, because she hit me up on email. Hi, Mr. Meat Hook. Welcome. Bienvenidos. Hi, Ruth. Welcome. So this is what I want to talk about. And I want to give you a perspective to look at this, and Bea and I have talked about this extensively. Hi, Diane Hill. It's not, hello, Ken Hathaway from Nottingham, England. It is not important what the relative value of that video is. What is important is that people like Grace and people like Boozy Beauty and people like John and people like Abby, who's probably the foremost video expert in our community, went and found something. And if she felt that they were police officer lights, that's good enough for me. What I said to them, all of them, when I spoke to them individually, including I had a personal phone call with Abby for the first time. Thank you, Ken. I am feeling much better, and I'm so happy to be back here with you guys. I really am. It's great. It doesn't matter how much relative value that video has for David Yannetti and Alan Jackson and the rest of the 17 defense team members. It matters that someone looked for something, they dug in, they used their what we call in the military, our Mark 1 eyeballs, and they found something that I believe is legitimate. Now, why do I believe that? Because Abby believes it's legitimate. And if she says it's legitimate, that's good enough for me. Now, are there other content creators who don't like Abby who are going to say, oh, her work is this and I debunked it, and they're going to come in the chat and say stupid things like that? Sure. I trust Abby, and whether or not it's the relative value that they're not going to be able to bring it up during the trial and use it as leverage for the defense, because without having corroborative information to triangulate a cop being out there outside of One Meadows with his or her lights on, and then another piece of information, and potentially a third piece of information, without being able to triangulate that all, I don't think it is what we would call actionable intelligence. Does everybody follow me? Is it intelligence? Is that a piece of intelligence that they could use? Maybe. But I don't think it is legally actionable because there is an absence of corroborative information. Okay? So there's that. But what I say to Abby and to Boozy Beauty, my fellow homegirl from Dean, regardless, even if I never talked to her in my life, it would not matter. They went out and dug something up and did the work. And that's what we need here. And Nan Gallagher is backstage now. And she says, show up and do the work. And that's what these girls did. The relative value of it to the defense, immaterial. Keep doing work, and you'll keep turning over things like Olivia has done that could potentially help the defense. So to Abby, belated, because I've been gone for 2 weeks, and Boozy Beauty and this young girl, Amanda, I say, great job. That's what we call doing work. Okay.
And in addition, she did say that she has been in contact with the defense.
Good.
So it's not that she has reached out to them.
Yes. We don't know that it's actionable.
Right.
I don't think it is, but that doesn't make me applaud any less. And nobody, and what we want to do, let's bring Nan Gallagher in. Everybody, let's give a hand to Nan Gallagher.
Yay! Look at her. Looking all beautiful over there.
Hello.
Yeah. Can I get a Nay for Nan Gallagher, the attorney from Nueva Jersey? Yes.
What's up, guys? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I was gonna take this from my car, and then my daughter went and won the semifinals, so we're in the championships.
Nice.
We don't care about the show. We care about what your daughter's doing. It doesn't matter if you're in the car. You could be laying and looking at a blade of grass right now. We'd be okay. We don't care.
I'll give you guys a quick view.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, wow.
Oh, look at that. What a beautiful evening.
Yeah,
I know.
I have to say, just for any trolls hate watching right now, my daughter is guesting for a team in South Jersey today. It's not even her team. She decided her team wasn't playing today, so she decided to pick up a guest spot on a South Jersey team. And she's just showing up. She is just showing up today, and they are winning. They're in the championship, and she is so free Karen Reed. She told me, she's like, Mom, we didn't know we were going to be in the championship. You go do Calling All Beings with DJ and Boston B. And that is what I am fucking doing. So
Yes,
Can I get
love
an
it.
amen for Nan Gallagher?
I hope you can hear me okay.
Yes, we
Yeah,
can.
Okay.
we're
Yeah,
digging
it's
it,
great to
ma'am.
be here. It's been fun. It's been a
And
fun day on Twitter.
yeah, and we wanted to address that, so we might as well knock it out of the park. Great metaphor for today. Talking about the community and trolling other people and these kinds of things. We have done a couple of healing episodes on calling all beings, and the reason that we do them is to try to give people an understanding that as tribal beings, as humans, since the beginning of time, we have been like this. Look at our nation's politics. That'll tell you all you need to know. If you look at how many people you know that are from one party or the other party, and then compare them to how many independents you know, you're going to figure out and go, wow, I know a lot more people who are partisan on high past the pepper on one side or the other. So that tells you that's part of being human. And we have to embrace that. That's part of us. So how do you navigate that when you're in a community like this and you're finding, hello, Mary Malaki, it's so good to see you on there, love. When you are finding yourself at odds and wanting to lash out at someone else who's in our community, not the idiots like Nan lashed out at the one moron that she offered to debate that I wouldn't give him 5 seconds on the show, never less an hour, because he doesn't deserve to be on air with Nan Gallagher. And he's not going to be on Nan Gallagher on my channel. I don't care if I get 1 million views. He wouldn't be on my channel.
Oh, I can fully explain this. But before I do, I just wanted to let you all know my daughter just hit a fucking triple. Yes.
Hey!
And I saw it.
Driving in runs. Is she driving some runs?
She did. She drove in 2 RBIs. Yeah, it's awesome. I can do both. I can multitask.
Of course you can. I mean, you're a lawyer.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
But your comment about tribal anthropology, so to speak, I think it's worth commenting on. So I want to give a few comments to you and your audience. So first off, I want to make sure you're feeling well, DJ. I
feel much. I'm so happy to be back on air with my family in Massachusetts and all that. So yes, I'm
good.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you so much.
Good. Yeah, sending you healing vibes. So first I want to say a few things. One is I challenged a certain individual who seems to be at the forefront. And you guys let me know if you can't hear me, but he seems to be at the forefront of the Free Karen Reed movement most recently. Like he's taken more of a pivotal role. And a couple weeks ago, was it I guess it was Broken Baker's channel. I think it was Broken Baker's channel, and he had him on. And I thought that this individual was, and these are my opinions, this individual was rude to the host.
Yeah, he always is.
I guess, although I don't recall if I've seen him on other people's channels, because I don't watch anti-Free Karen readers. But if he was on a Free Karen Read channel, I didn't watch it. But I ended up challenging him. And not to get attention and certainly not to cause much of a stir. What I found there was such a level of did I just click something? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Oh, I thought I accidentally clicked someone. But I saw such a level of disrespect to Broken Baker, who is not born of this country, who speaks English as a third language, and who is one of the smartest, most thoughtful,
analytical
commentators on the Karen Reed trial, that I felt very protective of him, although he didn't need my protection. And when I called this individual out, I said, you know what, I'll debate you, and we'll do it on a neutral platform, and we'll have a discussion. And it's not going to devolve into hostility and interrupting one another. I'm paraphrasing what I said, but I basically said, we'll pick a neutral platform, ding, ding, let's go for it. And I actually think it would be a really good thing to do, Sorry, there's a plane going overhead. I think it'd be a really good thing to do because there's so much mis and disinformation going out by the other side that is it's scary to me, because this particular individual, why I have no idea, has been selected by a mainstream media source, meaning Court TV. Take it for what it's worth, but they have more of a far-reaching pull on worldwide. So I'm saying to myself, well, if he goes on these programs and spouts some of the misinformation, again, these are my opinions, I'm going to debate him. And I offered on April 7th, and he claimed as of today or yesterday that he's never heard of me, referred to me as a creature. I am a creature. I'm a creature of showing the fuck up.
Yeah, creature of badassery.
Right. Someone to be reckoned with, like,
Yes.
seriously.
Yeah. But you know what? They can call me a crypt keeper. They can call me, someone who throws money to get attention. I don't do that. And I felt it's important to say that when I donate money, and it's been quite a bit, to the Defense Fund and to Turtle Boy's Defense Fund and to the creators, it's so you all feel a little bit of inspiration to keep showing up and keep talking about this very important issue, that if it's missed, it's really a tragedy for Americans, because that is not the way that our Constitution has been set up and our state laws as it relates to criminal law are set up. So if I can give a little bit of inspiration to content creators, I do it. I don't care if anyone puts me on their show. And that goes for anyone else who has that comment to me. I don't care. I was even reminded this past Saturday, running into a content creator. He said to me, you emailed me last June and said you might have a few things to say on this case, and I never got back to you. And I said, yeah, I did. I remember that. I just have a voice. And if people want to listen to it, great. If they don't, they don't. But as far as your question concerning the tribal mentality, it's very tribal. And I don't recall this from Trial 1.0. But what I do recall is before Trial 1.0, I don't recall such an uptick in the divisiveness before it. But I wasn't living on Twitter at the time. I maybe I just blinked and I missed it. I was writing chats of content creators, and I was, dancing in Twitter a little bit, but thoroughly following the case. But the tribal divisiveness, it's really insidious. So I just like to take this opportunity to tell this one individual, I don't need to wipe the floor with you. I don't need to put on boxing gloves. What I will do, if you choose to accept my invitation, and if you choose to not disregard my invitation or to cry to other individuals because I'm a woman and you're afraid of the optic of raising your voice at me. I was raised by a Scottish man who drank a lot. I'm used to getting voices raised at me and come for me. But please allow me to tell you, sir, that there's a lot of information that you have wrong, and I'd be very concerned that you put it in print. I hope you consider it a work of fiction, because I do. Anyway,
it's listed that way on Amazon. I think he's number 775 in fiction, so it's appropriately titled.
Well,
the thing is with. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nan. Did you want to finish that thought?
I would say one last thing, DJ,
Yes,
which
ma'am.
is the timing of that book is very notable to me.
Yes.
It's not because of Trial 2.0 coming out. You know what it is, and maybe you've all thought of it. I'm not Einstein here. He doesn't want to be referred to as whatever he is on Court TV. He wants to be referred to as an author. So there's some level of credence and authenticity to his stature on Court TV. So, fine, you put this work of fiction out. Please allow me to dispel all of the misstatements in it. These are my opinions, but I'm waiting. And no, I'm not going to let KP whisper answers to you in your ear. You can meet me head to head, neutral platform. We'll have a very respectful conversation. I won't mute you, but you will not interrupt me, and I will not interrupt you. And I feel very confident, sir, that at the end of it, you're going to look very foolish. So thank you. I'm going to get off my soapbox.
Yeah. So, personally, my opinion, there's the female version of him, and they both do. They have the same shtick, if you will, or the same MO when they go on these shows, which is to interrupt, talk over, lie. And so, because we can't institute, for example, the Lincoln Douglas rules of debate on air on them, because I don't even think they're smart enough to read and retain those rules. That and I personally have to value what he's saying enough to put him on my show, and I don't, nor the female version of him. So if they said, I'll give you $5,000 to come on air, I would say no. Because I don't, I wouldn't put them on with Nan Gallagher because, first of all, they're not honest. So if you're going to come on there and lie, like when you do a Lincoln Douglas debate, you have to be able to back this up factually. You have to have books there. The subject of the debate and the nature of the debate you've studied, and you can point to these things and cite things in your debate. They can't do that, and they don't do that. So why do I want to give them my airtime to come on here and lie with someone who is a great intellect, a legal mind, when they're a fucking moron? So that's why they will not be on this channel doing it. I don't care what they go on Mike's, they go on anybody's channel they want, Brit's channel or whomever. But I would not put him on my channel with you because I value your opinion. And I want you to see this. This is a zero value for what they have to say. That's been proven. So that's why they won't be on this channel.
It's so interesting that you mentioned that, because I imagine there's people out there saying, why would you waste your time, Nan? Why would you even want to speak to this individual?
It's human. It's human. You want to smash the guy. You're like, he doesn't have a point. He doesn't know it. He's a liar. I want to embarrass him. But what invariably happens is you have to mute them because he will talk over you. He will lie. He will misrepresent what you said. And then at the end of it, they're going to go and they're going to slap themselves on the back and go, oh, it was awesome. I took on Nan Gallagher. So this is the reason why I wouldn't put them on air, even though you would willingly accept it.
I've been tortured for 25 years as a lawyer.
I get it. You want to take a baseball bat virtually and smash him in the face. I totally get it. This all gets back to humanity. So every one of us see people on Twitter and we want to smash that person because there's something about them that we find objectionable. Yeah. The problem comes in is when we're doing that to people who are also free Karen Reed, which emboldens these folks. And I have used the analogy and the metaphor before that we could be in that valley in Afghanistan. I'm trying to remember the name of this. Fob Keating in Afghanistan, where they were surrounded on all these hills and taking fire from the high ground. And on one high ground, you have the Alberts and the McCabe's. On the other one, you have Bacon Butt Morrissey. Then you have Judge Bebb is actually on a hill, and you're taking fire from everywhere. So we need all the help we can get. And it is totally natural to find someone in the community with whom you disagree. And you think that if I just tweeted them, that it's going to be like an injection of morphine when you're injured. You're like, oh my God, I can't feel that I have a compound fracture of my lower leg right now. And then all of a sudden, within minutes, that wears off. And it wears off because the person attacks you back. No matter how artfully you state your opinion about this person in the community with whom you disagree, they will respond back and they will say something to you. And now you hurt, and then they hurt, and then you hurt. And what hurts is the free Karen Reed community. So I would encourage you to find another way to contact someone with whom you disagree, either on the phone, either in person, either via email, and set up a voice conversation if you can address them personally, and address your concern. is it natural for us all want to go, you know what, you're an idiot? We all want to do that. That is part of being human. That is what tribal humanity and what she talked about, the anthropological aspects
Yes.
of humanity has been like since we had clubs when we discovered fire and you needed to find a protector. But I encourage you, all of you, find another way rather than going on social media
Right.
or any medium that's where you're projecting that out for others to see, and address it with that person individually, as difficult as it is, because to free Karen Read, we need everybody. We need all the boots on the ground. We need all the content creators. We need all of the standout so we have standout warriors, we have content creators, and we have the people that you see here in the chat. The people who don't have a show, don't stand out, but they are supporting what we're doing. Because if they weren't supporting what we're doing, we wouldn't be on air.
And by the way, DJ, first of all, like I literally have chills listening to you because I completely agree. And it's such a really concise and meaningful way to say that. But I also want your audience to know I fall into that last group. I am one of the people in the chat. Because while I may visit my content creator friends who I feel like I've known forever now, I am just someone who's absorbing the information from the chats and interacting with everyone in there. And maybe I answer some of their questions, maybe I ask some of my own, but they're such a vital piece of this. I also just wanted to just take one moment, DJ and Bia, and say one last thing, which is I said this similarly on a different stream a few days ago, but I know that there's been some friction within the movement recently.
Yes.
And without going deep into it, because I don't know.
No attribution.
I don't even know how deep it runs, and I want everyone to know that, and not to discount anyone's feelings, because I don't know what's going on, nor do I really want to. But I would just encourage everyone, in line with what you were just saying, to really try to talk to one another, because as much as everyone is hurting, and I'm not condoning anything that has been done or said, because I don't know, and not taking sides.
Right.
But I want everyone to give thought to that you're all on the same side. And most importantly, and very selfishly, I consider you on my side, and I consider you on Karen Read's side, and hopefully Turtle Boy's side too. But if I can just say that, because I want everyone to understand, like I'm not taking sides, and I hope that no one else wants to take sides, and I hope you all can work it out, because I love you all, and the movement needs you. You are what brought me into this movement. So now I'm going to get off a soapbox, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
So we do have a question for you, but I want to get Boston Bia in there first. So Bia, what are your thoughts before we get Nan's first question?
I mean, I would say that as someone who's out there and sees a lot of different people, I also try to stay neutral and, give everybody grace. It does get hard, because there are a lot of feelings and emotions. So, yes, we love Nan.
We love you. Nan. We love you.
Yes,
but
I think at the end of the day, what always, we're all on the same side, and we all want to, Karen Read to,
be freed.
Be freed. And
Yes.
that's really what we just need to focus on. So
Yes.
Go ahead, DJ. I'm good.
Thank you so much, Bia. I appreciate that, because you have perspectives of knowing everyone, being there on the ground, and you have a very, very intelligent perspective on how to deal with the community, and it's been very effective for you. I think it's something to follow. This person, Donna, wants to say we love you, Nan. So Donna's gonna repeat. Donna Rosh is gonna repeat what we said.
Hey, Donna. And I just saw in your chat. I'm actually looking for my reading glasses, which are buried in my purse, but I saw Cheech, and I just wanted to say, Cheech, I love you, girl. And I am not coming up this Tuesday, but I'm planning two trips up, but not this week. So I will, I try to keep those a little under wraps. But one of the things I plan on doing when I come is I need to go to the nacho night in the north.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
We have a great group.
Yeah, I'm planning to do that, and maybe we can turn it into a fundraiser. So to the extent I know when I'm coming, which I don't officially yet, and I don't fully announce this stuff just for safety reasons, but I want to go to Nacho Night because I kind of had to bail on you guys to go out with JFK and James Jackson the other night. I'm so sorry. Sorry about that.
No, no problem.
Bia, will you buy Nan some queso, please?
Oh, please.
I mean,
so I do want to say we do every week have a raffle. So this past week we raised $1,800. So we've been raising so I think at the lowest was like in the 700s to like $1,800, and this has been running for 10 weeks now. So Nacho Night has raised, independent of the business we're giving the location, we've raised a lot of funds. So for the defense fund.
I'm looking again at Cheech. So I'm gonna stop looking at your comments, but I will say, Cheech, can you reach out to me, please, honey? I will talk. I love it. I'm like talking to people through your channel, so I'm sorry about that. And I can't see a single thing on your screen, guys. Let me look for my badass glasses.
Yes, ma'am.
So what's up? What do you got for me?
So this question is just saying, Nan, I'm not a violent person. I'm just saying if Plevy Poo was walking in front of me, I would give him nonstop flat tires just to entertain me. You know, when you step on the back of someone's shoe and get their foot to come out.
I'm sorry. I'm not that special of a person, but there is no snowball's chance in hell that he's never heard of me. I'm sorry. Come on. I get made fun of for being on too many streams, and he hate watches all of them. So I find that ridiculous, and I can't find my reading glasses, so you guys will have to.
We'll read to you, love. We got you covered.
Okay.
That's a trick that Howard Stern was using about 35 years ago, where when someone would rip on him, he would say, I've never heard of this person. Who are they?
Yeah.
So nice try, Kevin. You're not very original, though you tried to pretend that you are.
Just an update. Bonnie did say it's about 7,000 that we've raised for Karen's defense fund
started Nuashua.
Yes, that's awesome. Yes. And I don't really know the nacho situation, but
it's just the name. It's just the name.
I was gonna say that nachos are one of my favorite foods.
They do have nachos there, so
yeah,
we got you covered.
Do they have live music?
They don't. Not on the night that we go there. We go there on Monday nights, so they don't have. Not specifically, but I'm sure if we request it for Nan, they'll make it happen.
Well, I might have to make a phone call over there.
Exactly.
I love Nan Gallagher, man. You are so awesome.
Get on that, Cheech.
All right.
Cheech will make it happen.
Helen Lewis says, I love you guys. Thank you for the content and great panels. I think she's really referring to Nan. And this is our friend right here, the newly licensed therapist, Amy Positive Pathways, who we met at the Meal Food, said, I'm sad that I have not been able to meet Nan yet, but at least I've met Bia and DJ and others. Love Dia and BJ. They're great. Thank you so much, Positive Pathways. I'll let you know when I can make my trip back to Massachusetts, which may not be as soon as Nan. I've got my knee replacement coming up in about a month from today. So
good luck with that, by the way.
I'm excited.
Good luck with that. You and I should talk offline because I do a lot of lawsuits involving knee replacements. I got to make sure everything's on the up and up.
Yes, that's a great idea. I'll talk to you, Nan. This guy, if you saw my doctor, this guy graduated from the Air Force Academy, became a B-1 bomber pilot. He did, I want to say 6 or 7 years as a pilot. Then he got the Air Force to send him to their med school, which is in like Bethesda. Went through med school. It was 10 years of schooling. And then he became an orthopedist. So now he's back here in Colorado Springs in private practice. I went to the VA. I got another orthopedist from the Air Force Academy. And he said to me, he said, DJ, I think if you're going to get a partial knee, you need to go see my buddy. And he is a handsome, like 160-pound, fit guy with a Southern accent. He is like right out of Central Casting. Hey, how you doing there, DJ Billy Howarth? How you doing? He
I
says,
love it. I might have to come with you for your pre and
yes,
post-op visits.
he is something else, man. He really is.
Is he as good looking as Joe Flipperhead? What is up
Yes.
with that?
First of all,
So funny.
Flipperhead look is so handsome, and yes, this guy is a little older, but still dark hair, and yes, he is that handsome. I'm gonna tell you.
That's age doesn't matter. Before I ended up settling down, I was with someone who was 20 years older than me for a long time. So
Wow,
little
thank you so
fun
much.
fact about the Nanners. Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, man. I'm gonna tell you. Yeah, I don't even know how old he is, but yeah, he is a very interesting story. And he just looks when he comes in the room, he's as cool as the other side of the pillow with a southern drawl and a brown crew cut. Like he's just right out of Central Casting.
Send me pics.
I will.
I gotta vet
Me
this
too.
guy.
I will send you guys
Don't leave me
photos.
behind.
I will send you guys photos from May 8th when I go see him. So
that's my kids' birthdays. They both.
Oh, really?
Yeah, their birthdays are both on May 8th.
You have twins?
No.
Oh, okay. Just wow.
2 years
Wow.
apart. Yeah. There's a dirty joke I could tell about that, but I won't. But anyway, I digress. Anyway, to Amy Positive Pathways, congrats to you on your new license. And if you ever get in trouble with it, give me a call.
Yeah, Amy, put what your licensure is in again. I know it's
Oh wait, I have it.
therapist. Yeah,
I
put
have
it in
it. I
there.
still have it. It was licensed independent clinical social worker. I have it from my notes.
Thank you so much, Pio.
I'm on
wonderful. Make sure you take good notes. Keep your notes. Keep them 7 years. Anyway, so let's get back to Free Karen Reed.
What you got? Do you want to strangle Judge Bev? Where are you at right now?
Oh my God. What do I got with her? Well, she clearly has medicated and has issued some rulings that are a little bit more equitable for the defense. I would be lying if I said I saw every single thing that came out yesterday because I was on the phone back to back phone calls. So I try to pop them in and look at things. But as you go into trial, what is it, like 3 days from now? Any trial lawyer should not be settling this stuff at this point. All of these motions, even the ones that have lingered, should have been decided weeks and weeks ago. And when I know yesterday, and your chat, or you guys can also remind me if you'd like, but I know yesterday I saw that the Commonwealth is now looking to prevent the defense from mentioning the dog bites or the
picture
evidence.
The chalk. Yeah,
was it just the chalk?
And about the third party culprit during opening statements.
Yeah, like I get it. The judge doesn't want any I don't understand why, but I understand that she does not want any reference to the third party culprit in opening statements. Okay.
So there he is, just so you guys can have a look.
Wait, who are we talking about? What are we looking at?
The doctor.
I'm single all of a sudden.
See, that's so funny. I can't see him when you show your screen. I can't see him.
Oh, he is gorgeous.
Is he?
Yeah.
Let me show you the second
might
one.
be
maybe you're on dual
Let me show you the second one. This is what he looked like when I saw him the other day.
Oh, okay. Well, he looks cuter than the other one, but yeah, handsome fella.
Nice. I will tell you, handsome doctors are normally good doctors. So I'll take your word for it.
All right. So I got that going for me. Dr. William Howarth, Colorado Springs. There he is, orthopedic surgeon.
That's awesome. Good for you. Good luck.
Thank you.
So, I don't understand why Bev doesn't want any reference to the third party culprit in opening statements, but that's been her rule. However, I don't see that there's an issue with showing the picture if it is just the picture, Bia, because I don't remember that. I thought what I had heard was that they didn't want any reference to the dog bites whatsoever, that look at this arm clearly shows that John O'Keefe was attacked by a dog. But either way, I I don't see that as part of the third party culprit conundrum. I think third party culprit is Brian Albert and
Yes.
Brian Higgins,
Yes.
right? And unfortunately not Colin. But if it's just Brian Albert and or Brian Higgins, the dog bite, any evidence of the dog bite is irrelevant to her ruling on that previously. I don't think did she issue. I apologize. I don't have notes in front of me, but I don't think she decided that.
She didn't. No, because they just filed that yesterday.
Yeah.
The prosecution. Yeah.
She's not going to let it in. But allow me to just say this, because I did talk about this on LTL Media the other day, and it may help your audience better frame their understanding. I don't care, as a criminal defense attorney, I don't care that the defense may not be able to reference third-party culprit or dog bite wounds or puncture wounds during their opening statements. I don't care. It's going to be okay because they can discuss it during trial. The opening statements really shouldn't focus, in my opinion and others, on third-party culprit. It should focus on reasonable doubt, but just what the evidence is going to show. So, opening statements are just that. They're statements. They're not arguments. I don't think, and nor do I think it will happen, but I don't think it should happen, where you have someone like you saw Yannetti do, and I understand it's going to be Jackson this time, saying Karen Reed was framed. You're not going to see that this time, nor should you. What you should see is a full discussion of the entire, I call it, I use Aiden's word, hackorama. This is just, they need to flip the narrative, just completely upend it, and then start with, you just heard what the prosecution said, and we're going to show you, the evidence is going to show you throughout this trial that we can disprove every single thing they said, and that their timeline is flawed, and their theory is flawed, and there will be, conflicting statements. People will most likely contradict their prior testimony. Oh, they're playing some music here. I hope you can't hear it. I don't want you to get copyright struck. So if it doesn't come in, if they can't show a chalk with the dog bites, if they can't discuss third-party culprits, it's not going to be the end of the world. So on a grand scale of what Nan is not worried about, this is one of them. I don't remember anything else that was going on yesterday, because I only kind of glanced at what was being posted. But as far as there is something that I do plan to do, which I figure I'll tell you guys first. So I had an opportunity to give a speech the other day on this case, and I wrote a story and I read it, and I'm going to be posting it this week. And it draws upon my background as an English major, and I minored in Greek tragedy and comedy, and I wrote a tragic tale called The Light Against the Labyrinth, The Trial of Karen Reed. And I was very fortunate enough to read it to a large group of people, and I'm going to be posting it this week. So everyone should stay tuned. It's I like it. I hope you like it too.
Hells yeah. We have a couple of good questions here for you.
Yeah,
This one's from May Cronin. If the evidence can't speak of a reason for John's death, if the defense can't speak of a reason for John's death, neither should the prosecution bring it up, a cause of death. What do you say to that, Nan?
So I think that's an interesting point, May. So my vision's so bad. I thought that said Mary.
Me too.
Oh, good.
I also thought that.
Well,
yeah.
I'm so old. I'm such an old creature.
Please.
That I should be able to get my reading glasses out. But if the defense can't speak of a reason for John's death, was that a ruling? Because I don't remember that being a ruling. But let me say this. Right now, the Commonwealth is in a pickle. They have a medical examiner, Irina Scortibello, I believe is her name. I know it's Scortibello. I think Irini. Yeah. So their medical examiner, who they've really abandoned somewhat, She cannot find a manner of death. I believe the cause of death was the subdural hematoma on the head and hypothermia, but the manner of death is undetermined.
Yeah.
When a manner of death is undetermined in a criminal action, it's like arsenic to a case. If you can't get your medical examiner to reach that conclusion, it's really problematic, which is why Proctor was upset about it. And then I know there were other guys, I can't think of their names, other law enforcement officers who were teasing Proctor about not getting her to the point of issuing a manner of death. It is in some ways a kiss of death. Why it wasn't for trial 1.0, I have no idea, other than this jury, the first jury, got snowed by a bunch of bullies who didn't understand the law and didn't get properly instructed by Judge Bev. With that said, I am unaware of any ruling that says, I know May's question talks about cause of death, but I'm unaware of any ruling that talks about the defense not being able to mention it. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and it's unfortunate that I can't see your chat. But I will say this: they should absolutely harp on it. What's her name? Liza Little was the attorney who cross-examined Scorti-Bello last time. She's going to do it again this time. I have a sneaking suspicion that Dr. Scorti-Bello is a little bit more agitated and, if I may say, pissed off at the Commonwealth, because they've really tried to strong arm her into issuing opinions, which she's just not comfortable going that far to stretch. And I can say, as an attorney who represents doctors for a living, good for her. She's not going to let herself get bullied into making concessions that she's not medically comfortable making. So now that she's got to come and do this again, and now that the Commonwealth has quasi-abandoned her and gotten themselves a neurosurgeon whose name might be Wolf. I think he's the guy down in Florida. Not to be confused with Crash Daddy Wolf. Yeah, a lot of handsomeness going around Free Karen Reed. But anyway,
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, shoot, the game is over. So I'm going to have to knock off camera soon, but I can stay on.
Okay.
And I don't even know if we won. So take that, trolls. I ignored my daughter. I ignored her, and I am so distracted by Karen Reed that I don't know if she won the championship. But with that said, it's looking like she did.
Wow.
It is looking like she did. Woo! But now that right, we know how to get it done. So now that they got this Wolf guy from Florida, Scorti-Bello probably feels a little chapped about that, because I'm holding aside the fact that a neurosurgeon is not qualified to issue opinions on cause of death and manner of death. This is unheard of. He treats living people for a living, not dead people. He is not a forensic pathologist. But I have a feeling Liza Little is going to grill Scorti-Bello a little bit more and just make her, but not just grill her. Maybe make her feel a little warm and cozy, like I would have done to Plevin if he accepted my invitation from April 7th. Make him feel warm and comfortable, and maybe they'll make some concessions that are a little bit more favorable to you. I have some inside knowledge, which I can't say how I received it or what it is, but I will tell everyone, please focus on the medical testimony in trial 2.0. So there's a little teaser for you. It's going to be very interesting, even though you think it's not an interesting part. Watch it. I will.
Yeah, I was wondering if they were going to have an independent forensic pathologist look at that report the way that they did in Sandra Birchmore, but apparently they're not going to do that.
Well, what's interesting, DJ? There's thousands of forensic pathologists in the country and worldwide, and they didn't get one. I'm not saying they couldn't get one. I'm saying they didn't get one. They got a neurologist or a neurosurgeon. And that, to me, in my field, speaks volumes, because I know they picked the wrong specialty, which implies to someone like me who hires experts for a living that they couldn't get a forensic pathologist to issue the opinions on causation and manner of death that would have sealed the deal for Spanky. So that's really interesting to me, and it's going to be fun to watch.
As a defense attorney, Nan, would you want your own independent forensic pathologist to look at that body, a Dr. Spock, like who worked with the feds on behalf of Sandra Birchmore, or somebody like Dr. Michael Baden of that ilk?
Yes, I would, but I wouldn't do it if I didn't need it. So, for example, like the defense in this case, they don't need an independent forensic pathologist. Why? Two reasons. One, Scorty Bello gave them pretty neutral testimony, which is favorable to them. Two, they actually have Dr. Marie Russell, and she is by trade, part of her training is forensic pathology. Is she being offered as a forensic pathologist? No. But when you have her and she's your expert, and I'm sure they asked her, based on your skills, your training, your experience, do you find that these wounds were consistent with X or Y or Z? She probably said yes or no or yeah, whatever the questions were. So they feel very comfortable with where they're at now. And honestly, this trial is so expensive. They have to curb their expenses. Yeah, conserve. That's a better
resources,
word.
Yeah, because they already spent a ton of money probably on that appellate action with Dr. Marty Weinberg, that ill-fated. We're going to get them to overturn and poll the jurors on whether or not they were. I guess you kind of had to take a shot, but then the precedent, that Melanie had that one appellate attorney on her show. Yes. And that guy felt that there wasn't the guy with the Panama Jack hat. And he felt like there wasn't any grounds or there was no precedence and didn't think that that they would overturn her on that. So I felt like that was from a obviously we're layperson idiots here that don't know anything about the law, but I guess you had to take that shot, but it just seemed like it was a waste of money.
You guys can still hear me, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just going to pack up my bag and then, but I apologize. I can't be on camera right now.
No, I mean, right now, this photo right here, it looks like you are in a sort of like a period British drama and you're about to enter the drawing room and address everybody sitting, who's not touching the back of their chair. You know how they sit, Nan? So.
Can I, you don't want to go on camera, honey? Oh, my daughter just showed me her.
She is more than welcome to.
She's being shy. She just showed me her medal. But she's being shy. But what's funny about this picture? I had a client, I was sitting at a meeting and a client of mine literally put his camera like right up. I was sitting at a desk and he put it right up under me and took it. And I like it because I like that shirt. So
I love that. Are you kidding? This photo is like classic. It was like, if you'll come through, dinner is served. Or something like. My throat is just toast. Bia, could you read this one for Nan? We got a couple questions for Nan.
Yes.
And then we'll get out of here.
Are we too optimistic about the recent ARCA discovery order? Judge used the excuse, while you cannot provide discovery that you do not have, I'm left with unfulfilled obligations under Rule 14.
So let me say this. The ARCA, I'm going to say it in my way. Maybe it won't specifically address. Let me just see her name. That's Clerk Jim Clown's list. Okay. Yeah. Here's how I answer that. I am happy as an attorney doing defense work that ARCA's coming in. I'm also really amused at how annoyed Hank has gotten over the fact that he thinks there's communications between the defense and ARCA that may have more, I don't know, salacious bias details in the communications, which he wants to be able to peck away at to try to show bias or partiality. But with all of that said, I didn't specifically yet see Judge Bev's ruling. If you guys know exactly what it said, what I can tell you is they have to hand over, the defense has to hand over, and it sounds like they already have. But every single thing that they have that's a communication between their office and the ARCA guys, and I apologize for the background noise.
No problem. We're good. We can hear you loud and clear.
There's two jerks talking right behind me.
Hey,
but
yeah, we won. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I did. We beat them. But anyway, so I feel like this is a nothing burger in that everything has been handed over. And as far as the defense is concerned, like, they have free reign to do whatever they want with ARCA. What's her name? Bev makes a lot of little snarky add-ons to some of her rulings. Like, I don't know if she put a particular... Yes. What did she put in there, DJ?
I have not read the motion, but I know the snarky references to which you allude. One of them was the denial of the Mark Bettero pro hoc fiche.
Oh, yeah.
But I was going to say about the Swamp Thing, who crawled out of some sort of a Louisiana dank swamp in Hank Brennan. This is his only play, right?
Yeah.
That's his only play with regard to ARCA.
And I can come back on camera in just a moment,
Sure.
at least briefly. But this is his only play. And as far as I'm concerned, here I'm back. As far as I'm concerned, the fact that he is so big mad over this is so telling, because he is afraid of ARCA. ARCA is going to wipe the ever-loving floor with him. And also, one of the interesting things with ARCA, because I saw someone post about this on Twitter the other day, or maybe it was yesterday, and I was like, yeah, those crash daddies are going to be mad. They are mad. They've gotten insulted, defamed. Wait, is my daughter calling? No, she's not. Sorry, apologize. She's not calling me. But they've gotten insulted, defamed. Their business has gotten bad reviews, which is ridiculous. They're nationally regarded. In fact, I think internationally regarded outfit. So they're going to come in, and they can't just put their feelings at the door. And
right.
if Hank comes in hot, the way he did with Marie Russell during her Daubert hearing, they're not going to take kindly on that. And I have a feeling all of the ARCA tremendously strong opinions that they came with for 1.0 they're going to be sharpened more, just like Marie Russell's were. But now they're sharpened with the anger. And now it's not just, yeah, we had some fucking fun creating a potato cannon. Now it's going to be, yeah, we're going to spend a lot of time talking about all the things we did. It's not going to be limited in any fashion. And let's not forget that the Commonwealth had full access to ARCA and chose to ignore it. So I want to just take this opportunity to say, and we've said, I know other people have said it before too, to all of the trolls and anti-free Karen readers out there, consider the fact that an FBI, one second, honey, an FBI engaged agency or vendor, experts, nationally regarded experts, they issue these opinions, and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts has chosen to ignore it. They've chosen to ignore and to dispute their findings. That should be of tremendous concern to all of you. So now I'm going to go back off camera, and I'm happy to keep answering your questions.
Okay, we have another. Bia, do you have anything before we get Ken on there?
Nope. Go ahead.
Okay. At Lawferio, the Commonwealth have a theory of what happened that's locked in. Why did Hanky say when he stomped his feet, I will have done my opening statement? Why would ARCA have any influence on that?
So let me just interrupt you one moment, guys. I can't show my daughter, but I can.
Okay.
I can show.
Hi. Yay. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations, homegirl. Keep doing
They
that
said
damn thing that you're doing.
congratulations, and they said keep doing what you're doing because you
The
keep
damn
showing
thing.
up. All right, so
Yeah.
now I'm gonna. I was partially distracted, DJ. Let me just read this. Lawferio, the Commonwealth has a theory of what happened. Lawferio, sorry, the Commonwealth has a theory of what happened. That's locked in. Why did Hanky say when he stomped his feet, I will have done my opening statement? Why would Arca have any influence on that? Okay, now I understand. And by the way, thanks
I
for
don't. I'm glad you do. Ken, go ahead.
thanks for the shouty caps for the blind people. I love it. So it's interesting that if I'm understanding the question, let's go, honey. If I'm understanding the question, here's what I find really interesting about this. Bye, thank you. Pardon the background noise. Here's what I
Yeah,
find
it's so
interesting
cute.
about this: when you have situations where the Commonwealth. Oh gosh, hold on. I gotta put you on mute for 1 second.
No
One
problem,
second,
my
guys.
friend.
Oh,
I have an
no, I don't.
announcement. I got an
Sorry.
announcement real quick. Leanne Bravo, my schoolmate from Dean College, is saying if you want, but you don't have to. I'm asking people if you could donate $4.25 to the Karen Reed and I love when people do this because they find creative ways to raise money for Karen. If you could donate $4.25 to Karen's Defense Fund in honor of my birthday on Friday. That is for my schoolmate from Dean, the legendary LB. Thank you, Leanne, and I definitely will do it. And I encourage if you all have the financial bandwidth to please do that as well. Okay, back
All
to
right.
Nan Gallagher.
Now, sorry about that. So I
Yes, ma'am.
appreciate your patience with me. So here's the interesting thing about this: the Commonwealth should have a theory already. It's theory. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm sorry, guys. Hold on 1 second.
Sure. We're going to be doing so. Everybody that's out there in the chat right now, we're going to be talking about the Unexplained after this. We'll do about 15, 20 minutes. We're going to play some audio for you, and we're going to want to get your reactions, your questions to it. It is this brilliant scientist named Steve, who doesn't want his identity known, and Matthew Knapp. And we will play those for you shortly after we're done talking Karen Reed. And they're very, very interesting comments, and I want to get y'all's reaction to them. So that's what we doing. Okay.
So now
Nan
I'm
Gallagher.
back. I'm just trying
Yes,
to
ma'am.
load up a car. So the Commonwealth has to have a theory already. And they had one which really was ridiculous and didn't fit the timeline in trial 1.0. So now they have whatever it is, and I don't know what it is, but they've decided that they want to fashion a new theory or a new timeline for trial 2.0. And now you have Hank getting all big mad over the fact that Arca, he thinks that the defense is ambushing him at the last minute with perhaps new information that he's not going to be prepared for, and this is trial by ambush, and that's improper, and how that will affect his theory he doesn't know, and he needs to be prepared for it. His theory should never change. So the fact that he's all big mad, and I'm turning my car on, so if you knock over to Bluetooth, I'll knock you back onto my AirPods.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's make sure you're still there. Can you hear me?
Got you loud and clear.
Okay, so it shouldn't matter. If I understood the question correctly, and if I didn't, to the person who asked it, please reach out to me. But if I understand the question correctly, what's interesting about it is it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter if Arca comes in and changes things. It shouldn't matter that there's a new set of facts or additional information that comes out from Arca, because the theory of the case from the Commonwealth should be the theory of the case from the Commonwealth. So ultimately, I'm of the opinion that this is Hank afraid of Arca, which means that he's really he's got no substance to his case. It shows me that he's got a weak theory and he's in a position where he's panicking over what new, fresh hell Arca might lay on his table for him to sort through. So
Yeah,
I hope that makes sense.
That was one of my biggest questions, because they did not know what happened. They were given a very, very limited amount of information going into, and I don't remember specifically what that was, going into the first trial. For me, I would want them to create an anatomical dummy and put it in like a parking lot, and then use a vehicle with her taillight, and then back up into it going 24 miles an hour and see what happened to the anatomical dummy with its arm sticking out with the drink in it.
Yeah.
They didn't. I don't know if they still, to this point, would have conducted an experiment to that level of detail that addresses precisely what the Commonwealth's theory of the injuries and death of O'Keefe
And they
was.
wouldn't, because they were hired by the feds. And they were giving specific information to see if John O'Keefe was hit by that car. So they were given specific information. And that's why they hadn't given information about the case itself, because that wasn't their objective.
Limited information would be the
Exactly.
way to say it.
Yes.
That's why they shot the stupid rock glass.
Yeah.
They shot the stupid rock glass at the taillight, because I think that's what they thought that these idiots were trying to say. I also want to say Positive Pathways feels like you look like a character from Downton Abbey. So, maybe the granddaughter of the Dowager Countess or something like that, Nan. So just so you know.
I love it. I hope that's a compliment. I have
It
never
is.
gotten into that program, and I want to.
It's amazing. I watched every single episode plus the movie that they did. So it's an incredible episode, and I could totally see you in the drawing room at Downton. So anyway,
God, let's do it.
Yeah.
You know what? What you guys were just saying, and by the way, like, I don't want to keep you, but now that I'm driving, I'm a captive audience. If you can deal with me not being on camera,
yeah.
But what I find interesting about what you both were just saying is the fact that ARCA, which obviously looked at the evidence as delegated to it by the FBI in an unbiased fashion without any, quote, theories of the case, and it reached its findings. They reached their findings. But in a normal criminal trial, when both sides have already performed their experiments, both sides know what the other side is going to maintain. This element of secrecy, like, we don't know what Hank's theory is, that we don't know if they've conducted experiments, or that is unheard of in normal criminal trials. And the fact is, in this case, it sounds like ARCA has performed its experiments, which Hank knows all about, okay, because they were talked about during trial 1.0, but now ARCA may or may not have conducted new experiments now that it has more data, more information, more testimony. I don't know. I don't think they have. And if I were the defense, I would probably encourage them not to do anything more, rely upon your unbiased, unfiltered, unvarnished prior experiments that you ran. But I am projecting and predicting that it is possible something comes out from the Commonwealth in this trial. Their theory of the case, and maybe some experiments that they had conducted, or that, this new, I guess it's Welcher, Judd Welcher comes out with this accident reconstruction theory, which he's put in a report we haven't seen yet, that the ARCA may want to respond to and possibly experiment with. So I am thinking at some point that there may be a situation where some new testing, new experimentation has to be performed by ARCA. There may be a request during the trial that, well, we just got this information from the Commonwealth. We now need to have our expert perform a study or an experiment to test the theory. That could happen. So I wouldn't be shocked. I guess I would just let you all know that that's something you could expect seeing in the future. But normally both sides know what the other side is doing ahead of time. This is a little unheard of, and I think I heard that Bettero was bothered by it as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a layperson, but I would want to have my expert test exactly the theory. Now,
Yeah.
again, I'm a layperson, I'm not an attorney.
You're
Exactly
getting
what
it
the
right.
theory of the Commonwealth is, and then give their conclusion. All right, we ran this test. You said it happened this way. You said that it was at this speed. You said that he had a glass in his hand and his arm was at a 90-degree angle. And that's how the shards of the polybicarbonate taillight that wouldn't have cut his arm. And so we tested exactly that. And our anatomically correct dummy has a skin density that is identical to human beings, and it's also filled with blood.
Right.
Yeah, simple.
And by the way, you're a layperson who just got it spot on. That's 100% accurate. Like, we want to be able to test the exact theory the way it lays itself out. And just think back to trial 1.0. Even Lally, he got the timeline wrong. This is unheard of, where the prosecution does not have a firm grasp of even a timeline, let alone how an accident took place before the trial moved forward. So even from the moment it started, everything kind of changed. And then you had Trooper Paul, who's still on the witness list, who wasn't even sure of what happened. He's saying and stuff, and it just did, and pirouettes were happening. So everyone on Tuesday, and I'm sure you're very excited and anxious about it, good and bad anxious, but everyone on Tuesday should be really dissecting Brennan's opening argument or opening statement. I want to hear exactly what's unfolding there and how they think things happened, because that will impact how all of the different fact witnesses and experts give their testimony in this case. And it may change how the defense even maneuvers. So I'm very interested, and I will go to great lengths to make sure that I'm available when that happens.
Yes, and we will go to great lengths to get you back on the show. Mary Murphy.
I'm a free agent now. I can pretty much do whatever I want.
Thank you so much. She can sign with any team. That's the Knicks, the Celtics, even the Brooklyn Nets in this case.
Yeah.
I want to thank you, Mary Murphy, for being a member for 1 month, and also thought it was very funny that you suggest that my orthopedist, Dr. Howarth, perform a gynecological exam on you. I thought that was very cute. So Doc, I removed his photos from the studio. I can't pop them back up there. Also, awesome. And Bia is going to love the fact that I got his spot on. Bia is going to now make fun of me because you can say, here you go, DJ. Nan's going to say you're going to tell me Nan said you got his spot on. But I actually think that Bia is starting to enjoy broadcasting with me. So I've designed a little bit of a test to see where I rank for Bia. So here we go, Bia. I would like you to rank these in order. Okay.
Okay.
You could either be District Attorney Michael Morrissey's personal masseuse. Okay. Brian Albert's personal assistant over at Marty Kraft's private investigations. The housemaid for serial murderer John Wayne Gacy, or my co-host on Calling All Beings. How do I rank? Yeah.
Easy. I mean, DJ's co-host.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, that was a tough one.
You've got me above the Morrissey.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. You know what? I'm giving myself an applause on this one. Here I go.
Can I get an amen?
Yeah. All right. Thank you. So I've risen on the ladder, and you would say above serial murder, John Wayne Gacy, above Absolutely. Brian Albert, and 1, above corrupt district attorney, lying, sort of ethics disregarding Michael Morrissey and his person. Okay. Well, there you have it, everybody. Pretty impressive stuff.
That was a tough decision. I don't know how you made that, Bia.
You know?
By the way, DJ, you were one of the first creators who ever reached out to me after Mike Crawford, and I want to say something to you.
Thank you, man.
If you need anyone to assist you or Bia during your time of anticipated future convalescence for your knee, and because you'll be fine, but there will be a little period where you're just not feeling so great. If you need me to assist you in any way, I'd be happy to.
Yes. So this is
temporarily,
yes,
of course.
This is a great idea, because what I sent Nat to that you guys aren't aware of, and by the way, please pass the Pepper's accent is phenomenal. So we love you, Pepper. I want to thank you. People in the chat will not know, but I will tell you that Pepper she's helped someone else in the community. And at the moment, she's helping someone else in the community that would really surprise you what she's doing for this person. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much, Pepper, for helping out that family. I'm gonna leave it at that, because I'm not gonna break private protocol. So I DM'd Nan earlier to ask her about co-hosting on the show, and that would be brilliant if you and Bia could co-host together while I'm out. I wished I would have thought of it in the throes of my illness. We had some guests already planned, but yeah, that would be great. So Bia will reach out to you, and we would love to have you. We'd be honored to have you co-host on Calling All Beings, right, Bia?
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be
Okay.
the Bia and Nan show.
Yeah.
I love it.
Woo!
I would be happy to. Yeah.
So that would be really awesome. And for the record, I reached out to Nan before Crawford did. The thing is I didn't know who she was. I hadn't spoken with her. I regrettably missed the appointment that I had to speak with her by an hour, and came out of the pool over at the base and did an moment. And I tried to get a hold of Nan, and obviously I had missed an appointment. That's something you just don't do. And so I usually will not put somebody on air until I've heard them or I've spoken with them. That's just what I've been doing for 15 years. But then, Nan said, hey, all right, it took us weeks to get a hold of one another. And by then Crawford had her on. So yeah, but nonetheless, as they say, all's well that ends well. And Nan came on, and and I'm going to try to do this without saying Nan is sexy this time, instead of, I'm trying to say successful.
You got to say it, DJ. Yeah. Come on.
Nan is sexy. You are.
Thank you.
But really the way that you've made yourself available to people and have been so folksy, I'm not going to draw comparisons, but let's just suffice it to say that a lot of people who are of your gravitas would not do that. And so we really, really appreciate that. You're extremely genuine. You sat down and broke bread with these folks. You went to a standout. That means a lot. That's why Cheech is, inspired by you. If you had just, sauntered into town and threw the scarf over your neck and went to a soiree and hung out with all the, the heavy hitters, they would not feel that way. But that's not Nan Gallagher.
My God, now I'm driving, DJ. You're making me cry.
I'm sorry, but
that's very nice.
Bia, go ahead, Bia.
I mean, are you my reading or my comp? Wait a minute. What am I doing?
No, talking about Nan. I mean, this was your.
Oh my gosh, she is so genuine. Like she's exactly the way she is on screen. She talks to everybody the same way. You go up to her. She's very approachable. She'll hug you. She'll talk to you, and she truly cares. And she could have just kept walking and gone right. I mean, she spent a whole day with us at the courthouse, and she stuck to what she said she was going to do. And Nan's a woman of her word. So
oh my God,
I mean, you're just amazing.
Thank
Like I
you
said,
so
I could hear
much.
you for days.
Oh, guys, you guys are
Yeah.
very sweet. And honestly, it's the most enjoyable moments I've had are me standing with boots on the ground and hugging people and seeing the concern and the disbelief and the questions in them. You know, they don't understand. But what you see is what you get with me. I try to just make things explainable, try to be a little funny. Sometimes I can be a little brash in how I speak, but I certainly don't do that in courtrooms. But everyone has sunk so deeply into my heart, including Karen Reed and her family. I want to help however I can. And, you know, to those who think it's, well, this is because I throw money at people. No, I'm trying to do what I can with what I have. And that's
Yes.
what I would ever ask of all of you, you know, including your viewers or any other viewer of any other stream. You know, do what you can with what you have. You keep showing up. That's what it means. Show up, write a story, post a picture, stand at a standout, tell a friend. Karen, who I do not know very well at all, but I can tell you one thing: she's appreciative of all of it. And I know Aiden, who I've met once. People think I'm like best friends with him. I'm not best friends with him. I met him one time, and Aiden, I'm sure would also want people just listening, absorbing, and appreciating and communicating about the things that he's putting out there in terms of content. You know, it's all about transparency and receipts and being aware. So I'd be happy to co-host while you're convalescing,
Yes.
DJ, whatever you need.
Yes. It'll be the 21st of May. So we'll schedule a couple episodes, and you and Bia can figure out who you want to interview, or you could just be the two of you with the live chat. Whatever you want to do with it, it's your platform. So yeah. Okay.
I might actually be in Massachusetts then. We'll have to
Oh, well,
see. We'll
yeah.
figure it
And
out.
we'll figure it out, and if not, we'll do it a different
Yeah.
time. But I would love to have you come
No, I
on and
might just go.
co-host. And
I might go sit next. I might go sit next to Bia.
there you
There
go.
we
Yeah.
go. That'd be awesome. Or you can
Yeah,
just stay with me, Nan. I have a couple of extra rooms, so you're more than welcome to stay with
Ooh,
me.
don't tempt me, girl. Don't tempt
Girl,
me.
I got
You
the
guys.
room.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
And so Michelle Lee has a question here. Love you all and the help and awareness and you are bringing Nan. I am in New Jersey. Any chance you'd be interested in doing a standout with me?
Yes.
So yes. So
Yes.
there you go, Michelle Lee. So reach out to Nan Gallagher on Twitter DM and let her know the nature, where your standout, whatever details that you need. So like we just said, she's doing the damn thing. So at this point, we're
Yeah.
ready.
I
Yes, ma'am.
certainly don't want you to. Oh, sorry. I don't want her to dox herself, but New Jersey's a big state, and I'll come to you. You tell me where you're at, and we're gonna do a
Oh my
standout.
God.
We'll do a Jersey standout. Yeah, and I've even been thinking about putting signage up in front of my law firm. My law firm is in the New Jersey office is in a beautiful restored. It's almost a 200-year-old home that is restored, and my office is the first floor, and then there's co-ops above it, residential co-ops, and there's a beautiful front porch, and I think I'm going to put some free Karen Reed signage out there, but I'll go anywhere. Let's do a Jersey standout.
See, so everything that we just told you in the chat has come to fruition live on air. So thank you very much,
Aww.
Michelle, and reach out to Nan with the details. Also, I know Bia wants to say what's up to her homegirl.
Hey, Boston Brandy.
Oh,
To Boston
Happy Easter to you and the family.
Can I say something to Boston Brandy,
Please,
DJ?
please do. Yeah, she's courageous. Yeah.
If she's watching, I want to just take a moment and say that Boston Brandy, is one of the most beautiful souls that I have met in this movement. she's just fantastic. I'm even getting emotional. You're the best.
Aw.
I agree with you. So at the meal of food, I really didn't sit down. To the degree I did sit down for the most protracted amount of time was sitting across from Brandy and Ross and having conversation and trying to find out what it was like for Ross seeing his wife do this and take her daughters around and show them what protest is all about, for something that you really, really believe in. And then him, how he's slowly and slowly gotten more into the movement. And then she gave me a shout out from Ross earlier, which I really appreciate. Please give Ross a shout out back. And I can't wait to come and see you guys. I like I said, I got to get this knee surgery and I got to start training for my swim across the Hudson. So, which will be up and around my hometown. And subsequent to that, I will come to Boston again and stay overnight with you guys and have a meal of food and go and stand out on Sunday. And then I'll go home on Monday. So
Wow.
I just got to start. My whole thing is get through the surgery so I could start getting in the pool again. It's going to take me a few weeks and start swimming again.
Wow.
So, yeah, I've done three swims across the Hudson previously.
Wow.
So,
That's
yeah.
awesome. And by the way, Brandy's husband, Ross, is at least outwardly, one of the most positive,
Smiling. Yes.
people I have ever met in my entire life. He was so sweet to me at two different standouts. So Brandy, like, way to land yourself someone like fantastic. He's amazing. So thank you, Ross, for all that you do as well, and to Brandy, thank you.
Yeah. She's pretty badass. It was such a unique experience that I can't wait to come and do it again. So, Rocker Chick's here from Canada. Oh, Canada. All right, now it is time for us to start talking about the stop gassing his head. He's listening. Hi, Ross. She doesn't want to be dealing with an overinflated ego walking around the house, trying to go from the living room into the kitchen. Yeah, we're going to start talking about the unexplained. I'm sure Nan is not that interested in Bigfoot and UFOs and stuff, but this audio that I have is so extraordinary that I wanted to play it for the audience and get y'all's reaction, your questions, your comments. It is a scientist who wants to remain unknown, and Matt Knapp of Bigfoot Crossroads. They are not addressing a specific aspect of the unexplained, just in general. And I tell you, this is fascinating. So let me cue that up and let us start. I'm going to start on number 3, and then we'll go to number 2 and 1. So let's go here. Okay, everybody, I'm going to put this up on the screen, and then we'll get after it. Here we go.
And then my grandmother and my other family members encouraged me to pursue it. They saw no conflict in it. You know, they knew this was where the knowledge for the future was.
That's interesting. Because that is kind of where my train of thought happens, is that I don't see these conflicts that other people see between these two worlds.
Yeah, I don't either.
I mean, science, is just basically a word that we apply to our ability to understand things based on the constraints of our own abilities of observation and understanding and reasoning.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And words are really poor vessels to convey understanding. Words don't convey understanding. Words convey meaning, and meaning is variable. So I can say a word and I mean one thing by it. You hear that word, you hear what you think that word means.
Right.
I mean, and to come down to it, words are just us as animals grunting and hissing and moaning and assigning meaning to it. Words don't mean anything. Words are nothing. They don't exist. It's our belief in the word that makes the word a thing. I say all the time, words are not things. Words are the shadow of things.
So let's take a word that you already said. UFO. That conveys an image in people's heads. So tell me about that UFO sighting when you were.
I'm going to pause it right there because all that Steve talks about a UFO experience he had up in Appalachia, but I'd like to get anyone and everyone's reaction to what you just heard about words and meaning. Bia, why don't you go first, and then we'll get Nan, and then we'll get people in the chat.
Yeah, so I thought it was interesting that he separated the words with the meaning, right? Or the understanding. So he's definitely putting them in categories. So I thought, because sometimes,
He said words don't convey understanding.
Right.
So
right.
words convey meaning, but basically saying, I don't know if your understanding is going to be what the person conveyed. Nan, what's your thoughts on what Steve said?
Yeah, it's so interesting. So I'm not sure if it was just audio because I'm not looking.
Yes, it is.
So yeah, and part of it cut out just because of where I was driving. But I think exactly what Bia was thinking when he was talking about the words and the meaning and conveying understanding. Like it's resonating with me, but I feel bad because I didn't hear it verbatim, DJ.
Let me play it again, and we don't need to play the whole thing, but let me, let's do it again because I think it's that brilliant. I tell Matt all the time this
about that UFO sighting when you were a small child.
This Thursday through
Saturday.
It's
gonna go. There we go.
And then my grandmother and my other family members encouraged me to pursue it. They saw no conflict in it. You know, they knew this was where the knowledge for the future was.
Here's the important part here.
That's interesting because that is kind of where my train of thought happens, is that I don't see these conflicts that other people see between these two worlds.
Yeah, I don't either.
I mean, science, is just basically a word that we apply to our ability to understand things based on the constraints of our own abilities of observation and understanding and reasoning.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And words are really poor vessels to convey understanding. Words don't convey understanding. Words convey meaning, and meaning is variable. So I can say a word and I mean one thing by it. You hear that word, you hear what you think that word means.
Right.
I mean, and to come down to it, words are just us as animals grunting and hissing and moaning and assigning meaning to it. Words don't mean anything. Words are nothing. They don't exist. It's our belief in the word that makes the word a thing. I say all the time, words are not things. Words are the shadow of things.
So let's take a word that you already said.
Oh, I've got stuff to say.
Please, ma'am.
Yeah. So obviously, I'm assuming are you making correlations to the divisiveness over the Karen Reed case? You're not.
We decided that. Well, you can apply it however you'd like to apply it. This was to talk about the unexplained. So I have two more pieces of audio about that length that I'm going to play.
Yeah.
So I will. But if you would like to apply this to Karen Reed, I would welcome you to do that. But it wasn't.
Yeah.
We were delving off into the unexplained. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So let me just say a couple of things. One is, first, I have in it. I promise it will circle back to exactly what we just listened to. So one of the things that has always interested me is the way people learn and the way I learn, which is not how everyone else learns. But, I have read a lot of published studies on how people gain understanding so they can become better students. And there's studies out there, and maybe you and your audience are aware of them, where you'll put a group of students, and let's just call them children, put a bunch of children together and say, here's a book, a social studies or a science textbook. Read the textbook. There's going to be a test. And they have to memorize it. And then they take their test. Okay, that's how I was trained in school. And I was actually pretty good at that. But there are other studies that show if you actually show the children why things are such a way, or why wars were fought, or why science works in a particular way, or show them an experiment so they can understand, they can gain the understanding beyond the words, then the studies show that they do better on the tests because they understand the why and not the words, the meaning of the words. So with that as the backdrop, what I've just listened to is kind of making me think about the Karen Reed case and the tribal anthropology of it, the divisiveness, the disputing over what seems to be really clear facts to one side or clear facts to another side, but it's just words. Everyone is spouting words at each other. Some of them are pretty hateful on social media, which I don't love, and I divulge into sometimes. But if both sides, even in the Karen Reed case, could kind of go beyond just the words and exchanging them, because they're shadows of meaning, and try to gain a better understanding of where each side is coming from. And that's why I find it kind of interesting when dealing with anti-free Karen readers online, because 99% of them are talking about, whether I've got red lipstick on, or whether I look like a crypt keeper, or whether I'm ignoring my children to do a stream. And they're not actually talking to me about the facts. The words they're using are toxic. They're throwing insults, and not just at me. At everyone. They're throwing insults at Karen. They're throwing insults at Aiden. They're throwing insults at content creators. And it's just words. But if we could all kind of settle down and gain a better understanding of each side, and even our own side, because that's the problem I'm having with anti-free Karen Reed people. Most of them just don't even understand that if you look deeply into the facts of their side, it doesn't. In what I've heard thus far, I can draw parallels. Are you losing me?
You're back now. Yeah.
Are you losing me?
We have you back.
Sorry.
Yep.
What I was saying is, like, if we could just, I could write a dissertation on how what I just listened to correlates with the Karen Reed case, is what I'm saying.
They're very similar things in politics, where you could show somebody a provable fact about the political figure that they favor, and they will eschew that fact because it challenges their view, because they view the world through the prism of politics. So every day when they wake up and they get out of bed and they blink their eyes, they put on something like this, and everything I see in the world now goes through this. Well, this could say Republican on it, or it could say Democrat on it. And if you're viewing the world through that prism, then anything that is to challenge that view that you have, you will seek to dismiss that, whether it be logical, illogical, provable, improvable, etc. That's what people will seek to do. I want to recognize somebody in the chat here real quick, though. Dr. Tim Mounts is here from All Things Unexplained from North Carolina. So hi, Dr. Mounts. Thank you for coming in. It's very appropriate that you're here, since we're talking about we were listening to Steve, and as it turns out, your accent is a lot like his. So so anyway, Nan, though, that was brilliant for you to wrap that up. Let's listen to the other two, and then we can get everybody's reaction to that, including yours. Let's go with, let me see what number 2 is. Okay, so this one is going to address something that Scotty McGinnis brings up a lot. So let's listen to this one.
But isn't it interesting that you have all these different communities of people, all these, I mean, just civilization, just different societies all over the world, different belief systems, everything, religions, all the different things. where there's so many things that are talked about and just different names applied to them, but they're all talking about the same things.
Yeah, exactly.
How can you not see that as acknowledgement that these things do exist and are very real?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, humans are fear-based, and I find the more committed a given person is to their belief system, the more willing they are to shut out parts of observable reality. So on the religious end, people are going to, immediately go to demon, no matter what it is. And then on the science end, they're going to go to, oh, that can't be real because it doesn't fit our Newtonian physics. Both of those are fear responses, in my opinion. Because they are desperately clinging to their certainty in a given story, and they don't want anything that's going to interfere with that story. They're looking for confirmation biases. They're not looking for mysteries outside of their bailiwick.
Right.
But yeah, these things are everywhere. They're constant. They've always been going on. They're always described. You can go to any culture on Earth and you're going to find these stories. And that's like with my ancestors.
Okay, I think that's the end of that. I think that's the end of that right there. Would you like to react to that, Bia and Nan, and then anybody in the chat like to react to that?
All right. So when we're talking about confirmation bias, I think when we don't know about a topic, we just you don't want to think outside your little bubble, like of the other possibilities, because we don't understand it. So when we don't understand it, we all of a sudden become, we're either fearful or we're, so we have a reaction to what we don't know.
We apply our filter to it, right?
Right. Yeah.
We fear what we don't understand. Nan, would you like to react to that comment by Steve?
Yeah, which, let me add, this is making my 2-hour ride home much more enjoyable than it was going to be. So thank you for that. So this is really interesting to me because it helps kind of validate how I think about human beings and their ways of thinking or paradigms. Because when I am going to keep circling back to the divisiveness of the Karen Reed issues, because it's a good example. This trial, this case presents a very concrete example of what you're demonstrating to your audience right now. When there is a fact or concept that is unknown or foreign to an individual or a group of individuals, the natural human inclination is to extricate it, to shut it out. Think of the story of the hiker who was like out in the desert several years back. They made that movie about him with James Franco. I think it was him. And he had to cut his arm off to get himself free. He was stuck in a bunch of rocks. And the reason I bring that up is people tend to do that. They want to do anything in their power to segregate something that is foreign to them or uncomfortable to them so that they can stay comfortable in their, as Bia mentioned, bubble, because some facts, whether they're the Karen Reed case or any other issue of life, are just uncomfortable to know or to hear. So I think people do tend to apply their own filters. They tend to apply their own rationale. They explain things away to make themselves more comfortable. And in drawing one last parallel to Karen Reed, I think that is why the facts that have come forth, the fact that you've got allegations of corruption and the Commonwealth with its judicial overreach, and that there might be law enforcement that and others,
yes,
meaning non-law who covered things up. You've got things that are uncomfortable to the unthinkable. And it is part of what I wrote. I mentioned earlier, I wrote a story and it's going to come out this week because I want people to read it. But it is why the, in my opinion, anti-free Karen Reed comfortable with these concepts and choose to just focus with tunnel vision on some facts.
Oh, we lost Nan. Essentially, it's about challenging worldviews. You know, when you look at a Peggy O'Keefe, you look at, we had on Kate Casey. A lot of you met Kate Casey a couple of weeks ago. And when you challenge someone's view of the world, they're going to give you the Heisman. They're going to give you this symbol because they feel a certain safety and a certain comfort. Police are good, bad guys are bad. You know, people like Karen Reed who break the law, bad. Police, good. District attorney, good. Defense attorney, bad. So when you just try to distill down the world to these very black and white symbolic things, I think I got a message from Boston. Okay. All right. Thank you, Boston Bio. In the chat. All right. So we're going to go to our very last one and then get your reaction. Hopefully Miss Gallagher will be able to come back in because this one's really good. And I want to get y'all's take on this. So we're going to put Matt's thing up on screen. And I was able to turn up the volume, so you should be able to hear this better. So here we go. This is, let me see which one this is.
That's underpinning the whole thing. So is there something out there? Clearly
not that one. Sorry. Okay. Let me see if we got here.
I mean, how much of this stuff, you know, the mystical stuff, do you attribute to just things that we just don't really understand yet scientifically?
100%.
I was going to say, do you think there's anything out there? I mean, it's such a hard concept to even grasp, but the idea that there are things that defy all explanations, even beyond our own comprehensions or whatever, there's actually something truly mystical out there, or is it just stuff that we don't have the right sensory organs or we don't have the right tools of measurement to understand it at this point?
Both. It's 100% both. And you're going to get that answer to a lot of questions tonight. It's 100% both. We don't understand anything. See, this is the thing. At the core of it, we don't understand anything. Now, we know how some things work, but do we understand it? Understanding and being able... I don't know how a combustion engine works, but I can drive a car.
Yeah.
You know, I could not build a computer. I don't really know how a computer works, but I use them all the time. So it's kind of like that. All
right, let me place this one in context for everybody. He's talking about the nature of UFOs and the phenomenon that may operate them. So that's the context to this, so that you're not like, what's he talking about that we don't understand? That's what he's talking about relative to UFOs. Here we go.
So it's kind of like that. Our very physical sciences, our Newtonian physics, clearly is just missing a piece of the equation. Mm-hmm. There's something that it just has not factored in yet, which I suspect is consciousness, that's underpinning the whole thing. So is there something out there? Clearly there is. Do we have any inkling what it is, or have we ever? Probably not. Can we even know? I don't know. I mean, we're limited by primate brains. And even though we have a very advanced and highly evolved primate brain, that is a physical construct within a physical seeming setting. And so there are going to be things that we may never be able to grasp as long as we are in that physical construct.
All right, I'll cut it because it's going to go
how
over
much
it
of this
again.
Stuff,
it's going to go over it again. So let me take that off the screen and let's get Bia and then Nan and then the chat.
So again, kind of going back to the little bubble, because basically what we're saying is that we don't understand. We don't necessarily have to understand everything. Like when he's using the example of driving a car, you only need to know how to drive the car. You don't need to know exactly how the car was built or, what it takes to operate the car, because
How
you
it
just,
works. You know
how
what
it
it takes to
works.
operate the car, but you don't
Right.
know how an
Exactly.
internal combustion engine works. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, I guess, so it kind of just made me think like, we don't have to know everything, but but if you're open to the possibilities that, maybe we can get a better understanding, but I don't think we're meant to know certain things. And I think I've brought this up to you before. I don't think we're supposed to know about all these things. You just maybe want to be open to the idea that there are other possibilities out there.
Thank you. Great job, Miss Gallagher.
Sorry, I cut off before, but
That's okay.
and I only heard part of this, but I was going.
I'll play.
Oh,
Let me play it again, just because this one is really. Let me make sure it's the right one.
But isn't it interesting that
I think it's this one. I think it's this one. Hold on a second. I'm getting the spinning wheel of death. How can I get that on my computer? Hold on.
Do you attribute to just
Here you go, Nan.
things that we just don't really understand yet scientifically?
100%.
I was going to say, do you think there's anything out there? I mean, it's such a hard concept to even grasp, but the idea that there are things that defy all explanations, even beyond our own comprehensions or whatever, there's actually something truly mystical out there? Or is it just stuff that we don't have the right sensory organs, or we don't have the right tools of measurement to understand it at this point?
Talking UFOs.
It's 100% both. And you're going to get that answer to a lot of questions tonight. It's 100% both. We don't understand anything. See, this is the thing. At the core of it, we don't understand anything. Now, we know how some things work, but do we understand it? Understanding and being able... I don't know how a combustion engine works, but I can drive a car.
Yeah.
I could not build a computer. I don't really know how a computer works, but I use them all the time. So it's kind of like that. Our very physical sciences, our Newtonian physics, clearly is just missing a piece of the equation.
Mm-hmm.
There's something that it just has not factored in yet, which I suspect is consciousness, that's underpinning the whole thing. So is there something out there? Clearly there is. Do we have any inkling what it is, or have we ever? Probably not. Can we even know? I don't know. I mean, we're limited by primate brains. And even though we have a very advanced and highly evolved primate brain, that is a physical construct within a physical seeming setting. And so there are going to be things that we may never be able to grasp as long as we are in that physical construct.
And let me set the table real quick for you guys before I get Nan's reaction. I want you to understand that some of the nature, and I'm going to get to you, ShamWow. I saw your question for Nan, and I promise you we will get that before we leave. There are aspects of craft that are moving in such a way through our skies that they are not utilizing Bernoulli's theorem to create lift, for example, meaning like some sort of a wing or a rotary wing that we require, that a helicopter uses a rotary wing to create lift, or in the case of a fixed wing aircraft, there's a certain shape to a wing that creates lift. Hi, Nick Rocco. Welcome. And so some of these craft are observed moving in ways that are inconsistent with Newton's laws of motion and Bernoulli's theorem, for one thing. And for a second thing, they are able to use propulsion that doesn't seem to have a visible thermodynamic property. Meaning on IR, I can look behind any aircraft that you could bring up, and I can see the propulsion coming from that aircraft. Some of these craft that are visiting us, some of us that have potentially even been reverse engineered, don't think they know how they work. So please, if you would, Nan, can you comment on what Steve said there? And that'll be our final for the evening, and we'll close the show.
Yeah, I'm happy to. I don't know if I'm going to cut out because where I'm driving, it's not the best not best reception.
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks for playing that again. You know, when I listen to it, and I don't know anything about aircrafts or UFOs or anything of the like, but when I listened to what he was saying and not being able to, you know, when he's saying, well, we don't really understand anything, my takeaway is some people do. In other words, you have engineers, you have scientists, you have doctors, you know, pick any discipline. These are people who become experts in their field, whether you're a dry cleaner or a waiter or a doctor, or pick any type of specialty in your life, you become an expert at it. And that's, to me, when I listen to him say things like, we don't have this, no one truly knows or understands. And I understand what he's saying there about how, you know, we don't truly understand how a car works, but we know to drive a car and we know generally how it works. But I look at it and say, every person can add something to an equation. You know, every person can add something to understanding, rely upon one another so you can better understand all different things. But, you know, I don't really have a lot more I can say about it other than, boy, you're smart, DJ. Because
Well,
if you're in this specialty, like this is so over my head.
yeah.
But I find it very interesting.
Nurse Kim's hi, Nurse Kim. Welcome,
Nurse Kim.
bienvenidos. So yeah, I'm from the aviation community, and I know that there are some craft that have made their way here. I mean, I can send you some interviews where you can hear some top government officials talk about craft that have made their way here and that have crashed and that have left behind things for us to look at. I'll put it to you that way. The thing is what I think he's saying is we know some things about these craft. We figured some things out, but do we really understand how they work and the nature of these beings and so forth? He's saying we don't. So that's really what his point is, very localized to the phenomenon, the unexplained.
Right.
So it's difficult. So he was using that analogy to say, I know I don't understand how an internal combustion engine works, but I can drive a car. Meaning we have some of these craft, but we really don't understand how exactly they make them move through our space in a way that we cannot build craft that do that. And when you are looking behind the panels of an aircraft, there are certain things that I would look at that I would see as very familiar, no matter who built the aircraft or where or when. There's certain things that if you unscrewed those panels and took the panels off, I would say, oh, okay, I recognize these things. But when you have a craft where maybe the very electronics of the craft are going through the skin, or the skin may be partially organic in nature, now we're getting into some really mind-blowing things there, where they don't have Canon plugs and cables and wire bundles and all these kind of neat things. In fact, if I showed you or Bia behind the panels of an aircraft, you would look at it and say, oh, okay, I kind of like that makes sense. These little black boxes and so forth. But some of what I've heard of some of these craft are that the very metal and skin of the aircraft have embedded in them. I'm trying to think of what waveguides and so forth that can carry not only electricity, but information and things that we just haven't gotten to that level yet. So that's kind of an amalgam of what Steve was saying, I think.
You know what, though? I know to these clips that you've been playing, and I've been drawing some correlations to the Karen Reed case. I want to just make another one.
Sure.
Because just when you're talking about, well, no one fully understands anything in general, right? What's going on this clip, it makes me think about the fact that people in the movement, and even Karen's defense attorneys, they've said things like, no one's going to know what happened that night. No one is going to know with certainty. There could be experts looking at this. You can have ARCA. You can have witnesses come forward and say, this is what happened. This is what I saw. We know she wasn't, we know she didn't hit him with her car. And we know John O'Keefe wasn't hit by her car or a car. But with all of that said, there's enough understanding for us to know, well, it wasn't Karen, and it was others. So I'm just drawing another parallel, just circling it back to the case. So, because I think that a lot of the different issues that you're presenting with these clips can have either even further ranging meaning than even beyond the context in which you're offering them. So
I'm so glad then that they did resonate with you,
yeah.
and with the audience, hopefully as well. I thought they were brilliant. I've told Matt before, and Matt's been doing this a lot of years, and he's a far better interviewer than I'll ever be. I said to him that this interview to me is like Hall of Fame worthy. That's just a couple of clips of a longer interview, a two-parter actually. ShamWow, thank you so much for the $5, sir. And he says, Nan, what do you think AJ's first sentence will be on Tuesday?
That's so funny. Every time I hear ShamWow's handle, I laugh.
Me too. Who wouldn't?
Yeah, and I think I've seen him on a few different channels. But anyway, what do I think? I thought about that. I have no idea. We know it's not going to be Karen Reed was framed. I don't know.
Reasonable doubt.
Yeah, but see, like I've said this before to some people, reasonable doubt, it will be in the opening, but it's actually more appropriate for closing arguments as opposed to opening statements. Like the opening statement is what the facts are going to show or what the facts are not going to show. So, you try to set the table for your jury as an audience. So, I can't say specifically ShamWow, but what I can tell you is it's probably going to have a ring to it that is respectful to the Commonwealth, but at the same time have a tone of, yeah, what you just heard, all of that, we're going to show you that none of it happened. That type of thing. Like, I know I'm being a little general while I say that, but it's gonna have an air to a, yeah, but no, don't believe your eyes because we're going to show you. And in thinking it through as I'm driving, it might even have like the theme of magic to it, like you're seeing something happen right before your eyes, and we're going to actually show you how it works, how it really works, how the woman in the box is sawed in half, that type of air. But I don't know specifically, ShamWow. Maybe we should set a little wager and see, or reconvene, reach out to me after the opening and we'll say, hey, this is what was said. And what do you think about it?
I also want to recognize Lori Marie here. She says, I lived in Mali, West Africa during my undergraduate. More commonalities and differences between people there and people here. Although I will say I found the kindest people I've known there. I did have the blessing to go on a mission in Mali during the tail sort of end of my career. And it's a place that you have to see. I'm very glad I had an opportunity to go there and work a little bit. So with that, we have to close it out. I want to thank Scott McGinnis, Boston Brandy, our guest, the amazing Nan Gallagher, my co-host, Bia the D-O-double Gia, mods, Sherry Dizzle, and Julie. Thank you, Nurse Kim, for stopping in. Thank you, Nick Rocco, my Italian homeboy. and my paisan, and I gotta go off and get some cough medicine going. But Nan, thank you. Any closing parting shots for you and Boston Bia?
Thank you for having me. I'm sorry Larry couldn't be there. I'm happy to have filled
Love you,
in.
Larry.
Apologize that I could not be. I was only on camera part of the time for you guys. But if anybody needs a pep talk before the trial, just remember one thing. You ain't got no quit, all of you, all of you. You ain't got no quit. So trials are meant to ebb and flow. Everything isn't a win. Every sentence isn't a win. Like don't be afraid of facts that come out and start panicking and run to social media. A trial is a full portrait. Okay, they're painting an accurate portrait for you on behalf of the defense. So just remember, breathe and take it in stride, and I'm sure you're going to see a lot of different, very new, surprising things, and no punches pulled. So I'm very excited for all of you, because you put a lot of time into this and investment in the Free Karen Read movement, and it's just a pleasure to be here, and it's great to see you guys.
We will see you soon as co-host on Calling All Beings.
Yes, can't wait. Thank you,
And
Nan.
Just temporarily,
temporarily.
while DJ's convalescing. But yeah, I'm happy to help you guys. And
awesome.
If you need anything else at all, you don't hesitate to reach out. And I hope everyone who's celebrating has a beautiful Easter.
Yep. Your friendship is all we need.
Thanks, guys.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Take care, Nan.
Have a great night. Okay,
you too,
bye-bye.
Love. Bye-bye. What's the last thing? Okay. Turtle Boy Defense Fund is up in the chat. As you know, on this show, we vacillate between the Turtle Boy Defense Fund and the Karen Read Defense Fund. Please, if you have the bond wheat financially, please throw some money at Turtle Boy. And I really appreciate you guys. I'm so glad we got to spend 2 hours and 12 minutes together after missing you for 2 weeks. I'm glad we got to talk Karen Read. You guys had some great opinions, great questions, great thoughts, great tenor in the chat. And we got to talk to about the Unexplained. Right, Bia? What do you think?
Yeah, no, it was great. Thank you. And glad to have you back.
Oh, thanks a lot. Thank you for holding it down. Obviously, you guys saw that Bia did a brilliant job while I was gone. She is a brilliant host of her own right. She's a complete natural at this. And I will make sure to take a couple of shows off so that Bia and Nan can host together. I think that would be really cool. And I personally would want to watch it. So I'll be happy to be in the chat to see that. So thank you, Starless Guy. You guys have been absolutely amazing. You've been incredibly generous. And thank you. On behalf of Bia, this is DJ saying peace out, one love, and we'll see y'all down the road.
Can I
All
speak?
right.